Pastors, church members, and APC faithfuls gathered for Catholic Convention and Event Hall on Wednesday, May 15th, to receive the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Senator Monday Okpeholo, and a running mate, Honorable Dennis Idahosa. The event, where them tag one-day consultative forum, they are attended by Ogbonge ministers and top APC ogas like Senator Adams Oshiomhole, APC State Party Chair Mujare Tenibe, his Secretary Lawrence Oka, former governorship aspirant Pastor Izeyamu, among others. For him address, Pastor Osage Izeyamu, who organized the event, say time don't reach for Christians to participate actively for politics instead of them to leave them for unbelievers, and say the last 7 years for Obaseki hand don't they chaotic, and say the continuation of Obaseki na continuation of affliction, and if other people allow them to bring a candidate, then it means them the reward in gratitude.
I have had the opportunity to be in government, and I'm one of those who have continued to remind Christians that politics cannot be left in the hands of unbelievers. It's an error to say that politics is dirty and so we should not go near there. It's an error. The only way we can take charge of the government of the day is through politics. If we want to have good government, if we want to have good policies, we need to have men and women who fear God. And the only way we can achieve it is to be actively involved in the politics of our state. I don't know about many of you here, but all those who come to me tell me that the past 8 years in Edo State has been a mistake. Am I right? We have had a governor who, rather than function, who rather than focus on governance, has continued to pursue imaginary enemies. When he was fighting his benefactor, the one whom God used to put him in office, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, many people erroneously thought Comrade was the oppressor. Knowing Oshiomhole's penchant for fighting, nobody could believe that somebody he brought would want to fight him. And Comrade kept quiet. And because he kept quiet as a national chairman, people erroneously believed that it was the guilty party. And so when the second term came, when people ought to have said, nothing is happening, they came up with a meaningless slogan called Ogbane. What does Ogbane mean? Nothing. But I'm sure since then, you have seen series of fights that show the pattern of this man. The party that gave him shelter, he has more or less driven them almost out of the party. The one who was his deputy governor, he has arranged his impeachment. A lot of our people, our houses have been demolished or revoked for no just cause. And very recently, an abomination, the palace, has become the focus of his fight. The scripture is very clear. Nahum 1 verse 9. What do you imagine against the Lord? The Lord will put an utter end to it. Affliction will not rise up a second time. A continuation of Governor Obaseki is a continuation of affliction. Allowing Obaseki to bring a successor is rewarding ingratitude, rewarding bad behavior, rewarding non-performance. no matter what you would think about Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, the work that he did speaks for him. Even after, even in the next 30 years, the roads that it had will speak for him. The only hospital remaining, because the central hospital has been demolished. I can't understand why you would demolish a hospital for a museum. The priority is very shocking. The same way you would destroy a library for ShopRite. But the point I want to make, the legacies of Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, who to the glory of God is here today, and he must speak to us, speaks in volume. But for Governor Obaseki, there is no legacy. Many of you will not know that for daring to contest with him, where I have a farmland at Amagba, the state government decided to revoke it. I am still in court with them. That is just one among the series of victimization Edo people has experienced. Is that the kind of government we want to continue? So we have invited you here because you are the conscience of our people. If pastors cannot say the truth, who else will say the truth? I know that there are many here who have their political affiliation. And in inviting you, we didn't worry whether you were APC or PDP or Labour or ABGA. The criteria we invited you is that you are a minister of God. You carry a responsibility to ensure that there is good governance. You love Edo State. And so we want to urge you in this gathering to forget the party that you belong. The Bible talks about the power when Christians gather in one accord. If this group can take a decision on where to go, then for once we can say the governor of the state came from amongst us. He will be somebody that will be responsible, somebody that we can talk to. Governor Obaseki contested against me. Which church does he go to? Apart from campaign season, moving from church to church, which church does he fellowship? Which church? Who is his spiritual father? And the man that he has brought, which church does he go to? Who is his spiritual father? When we see danger, we should be able to say it is danger. I have seen billboards that boldly and very proudly proclaim the man wey sabi. That is pride, the man wey sabi. Sabi wetin? The man wey sabi, he no sabi speak Esa language. The man wey sabi. Brethren, we are not looking for the man wey sabi. We are looking for the man wey God go send. The man wey dey fear God and the man wey God want. Not being we dey look for.
Senator Adams Oshiomhole appreciate people wey also stand out for the event. Come applaud the governorship aspirant wey stand down to endorse Okpeholo and im running mate, say while others dey fight for court, dem gather to strengthen their own. He come still talk say good leaders suppose dey physically present to feel and understand the people better, which Okpeholo get the qualities, and say him and Okpeholo make sure Abuja hear their voice and Edo dey see their impact. He come add say dem not just need governor wey go focus on infrastructure, but dem also need person wey go fit dey communicate with the people.
This gathering is unique in many ways. First is that it's a gathering of men and women of faith. It's not a gathering of party members who you are not even sure whether they believe in their candidate or not. Not to talk of believing in God. So I appreciate all of you. And I want to thank you for the honor that you've done to us. Now, I deliberately started with the people because the next governor, Governor Monday Okpeholo, is going to put the people first. Just like in 2007, I said, let the people lead. That done, I will now be permitted to acknowledge the chairman of APC in Edo State, Jared Tenebe, and of course the secretary, Engineer Lawrence Uka. And Pastor, what you have done is also to enable us make a statement publicly to the Edo community that we are all, after all the eternal arguments and so on and so forth that characterize democracy, which distinguish democracy from dictatorship, we finally arrive at a candidate by name Monday Okpeholo. There is no better proof of this unity of purpose than the presence of the immediate past chairman of this party, who resigned as chairman in order to contest for this office. My dear brother and friend, a colonel of the Nigerian Army, a medical doctor, David Imuse. I know that Imuse was in Lagos 24 hours ago and he has to fly down to be part of this event. Of course, you also know that the man who put all of this together, the tallest of the tallest. But I told him, by the time you get to my age, you will coil. The longer the okra tree, the more it will coil. Pastor Osage Ezeyamo, thank you for your large heart. It takes a large heart not only to withdraw from a race and endorse someone else by lips, but to go further by action to kickstart the process of mobilization. May God mobilize for you in ways that we cannot imagine. Of course, we also have the young man. He's so white that you would think he's an angel. And I will ask him to stand up so that it doesn't look as if I'm the only person who is short in the family. Blessing Agbomere. Even as he bent, he's still taller than me. He was also a governorship aspirant. Therefore, his coming here speaks volume. Then we have next to him a guy who was a technocrat dealing with oil, crude and uncrude, at home and abroad. And I asked him to join me for us to rebuild Edo together. And I had the honor of appointing him, and he was kind enough to accept. He was our commissioner for environment. When we were going to chase away the Mami water at teacher's house, he was part of it. And then we have a guy who rose to be a general in the Nigerian army. When you come from this part of the country, everything you earn and you sustain must be by merit because we don't have the numbers. As you rise in the army, you get to a level, only excellence can make you to become a major general. General Ariawiri. That is additional people. So he was also one of the aspirants, and he fought doggedly, and today he's here to support the winner. And of course, yeah, there are others who will be here, but for one reason or the other, they are not able to come. But while others are in court fighting themselves, our own are together, strengthening ourselves so that we can win. Why is it so possible? It's so possible because the objective was to work for the people of Edo State. If your intention is to carry passengers to destination, and you have 10 drivers, and you need only one driver, and the key is given to the driver that is favored, every one of us can find comfort in that vehicle if it is well driven. So Senator Monday will drive the people first. You know, I'm a man of short words. I have always said so. Not for the first time. Short man, short speech. I'm only going to make one or two statements because we are just testing the microphone. We are just testing. And I don't want to abuse the time you have allotted us by coming here this afternoon. To do the airport road, 6-lane, I had engineers, and I will explain to you why this is important. I had an engineer, an accomplished engineer as my commissioner for works, and he told me 6-lane is not possible on airport road. And he wondered, where is the traffic? Dual carriageway will be enough. I said, no. After all, President Tinubu severally has told me, the fact that I am short doesn't mean I cannot see the sky. So a leader should be able to see the next 25 years and plan for it today. I did it, and I resist getting a consultant to tell me that this road is feasible. Because the man will put papers together and tell me what I already know, but using jargons and play with words, and it will go with millions in consultancy, invisible expenditure. Some of you will remember that I went on that airport road, we used the tape, and we say, how many meters do we need from there to there? And I found that the only thing that will be affected were those who were building ramshackle shops, since the government was not enforcing the right of way. Today, I am proud when I landed, I saw even the most beautiful billboard they are putting is on that 6-lane road. So when they tell us that Monday will not speak like Fidel Castro, and so what? If long speeches is what we require, Nigeria should have since become more than Singapore. What we need is strong, reliable, predictable, sustainable action. So if Monday has been building schools, he doesn't need to be a professor of education to understand that a beautiful school is required for the child of the poor to go to school and become an engineer tomorrow. He's already doing it at his personal level. If Senator Monday goes home every other week, or even twice a week, with or without bad road, it's because he understands. Like they say, the okra tree cannot be taller than who planted it. That he cannot be stronger or greater than his people. That is why he goes to his place, live with his people, speak their language, eat their food, and embrace them. No doctor can treat a patient he does not understand the nature of his disease. And you cannot diagnose by YouTube. It has to be physical. Is somebody hearing something? And the conversation between a patient and a doctor is not conducted with microphone. It's through conversation, which take place between two people or more who know each other. That is what Monday does every day. This week he's been home 2-3 times. He also tried to keep his job in Abuja. But now that one has to suffer because somebody else has to take you where you take this one. So let me assure Edo people, I have made my honest mistakes. And each time I reflect on my life, I realize that when we get things right, we don't credit God. We say, you know what, I've seen it all. At my age, trust me, I've seen it all. It is where you make mistake that you are humbled. To say, not even at 100 can a man claim absolute wisdom. That belongs to God. So, from Ogbane is going to be Ofode. Simple. Ofode. And I do believe that you listen attentively to pastor and got clear interpretation of his message. When election is approaching, people are going to bring up all kinds of sentiments. I knelt down to apologize for my errors because no person, no human being should be too big. Once you have recognized that you have made a mistake, go on your knees and say, God, you know I didn't do it deliberately. These are errors of my limited brain. I ask you from my bottom of my heart to forgive me. I did that. But the sentiment had run too deep. But now we confront the reality. I want to assure all of us, when I went to Monday's, the next governor's reception at Irua, I told the people, we want to change the way National Assembly or parliamentarians are perceived. I don't want to be a senator of Keke-Napep and so on. Not that Keke-Napep is not good. But let's deal with the big issues. And that day I said to our people, I said, the first constituency project, Senator Monday and I, coming from APC, Edo State, will have to work on is not to buy motorbike, 2 motorbikes for 10,000 youths. We will have to ensure that we get the federal money and federal commitment and federal action to rebuild this Bini Olokoja road. Because Edo people are not so lazy that they want a long dining table where you serve them food, spoon feeding. No. They want an environment that will enable them live their life, create their wealth, and feed their families. Government create the environment to enable them to do that. And right now, I am sure Monday, the people can see that without making a consultancy, we had conversation with our own president. Sir, I can't visit the second senator. No MOU is required. And I'm sure you know they are doing something on the road now. That is what we promised, that our voice cannot be ignored in Abuja. When we talk, power must listen, and power is listening. So I will miss his company in Abuja, but it is for good reasons. While he's doing what has not been done, we will find someone who will replace you, and together we'll be doing the Abuja one. Lastly, Edo, like most states, our needs are still at the level of basic needs. What is required in governance? And I can talk with some authority. Because I have governed 2 terms, I didn't do a receipt. Not at all. I said so to one governor who was looking for my trouble in somewhere. Because he was voted 4 years. Second term he lost. He had to go for tutorial before he did his second term. And he was challenging me, and I said, I didn't have a receipt. You had a receipt. Our people need not just basic infrastructure. They also want a governor that they can connect with. You can touch him. You can feel him. You can have a handshake. You can hug him. Even if he's wearing mechanic grease and oil. Because remember the mechanic story. He said if he looked the way he looked, don't say he's mad. The nature of his work. And it is that work now make motor the worker for road. So why we not go hug him? More day we do that effortlessly because that is who he is. He advertised to everyone who cares to know his very, very humble beginning. And that shaped his ideas and values of life. So I want to thank all of you, men and women of faith, even as those gospel singers. The song were so captivating that sometimes you are tended to miss the message. But I tried to get the message in each of those gospel singers' message to all this afternoon. May your prayers come to pass. And I can say, on behalf of our son, our brother, our brothers, this is you 2 o'clock. Because Senator Monday is 52 or thereabout, and his deputy is 43. So they understand current challenges, and they have the energy to get the job done. And we will guide to the extent that our opinion is required. But they are the drivers. And while they are driving, we also know you can't murmur to a driver. Otherwise, you're looking at the back, you can miss the steering. So, Senator Monday, you are a very lucky man. Like one of the pastors said, God sent. And Monday, you'll be our next governor, and don't forget the Christian community, particularly fathers of faith. You can't go wrong when you listen to the word of God. God bless us all. Monday, I wish you all the best.
For him part, Monday Okpeholu come talk say na grace of God dey speak for him for him political journey right from when he run for the senatorial position, and say him dey sure say that grace go lead am to victory come September 21st. Okpeholu come yarn say wetin inspire him quest for leadership na because of the horrible experience wey he get when he dey grow up, say for him community no good water, road, schools, and say na this make am tile him village road himself as no dey feel presence of government for there. He come still talk say,
when I was growing up, I developed a passion. I went to the stream with my sister, my senior sister, because we had just one girl. And I had lost my mom when I was 3 years old. Now, what happened? When we get to the stream, normally we fetch water, bath, and take water home. Then we wash our clothes. That fateful day, you know, the soda of those days were very chronic. So my sister we were bathing, and eventually she fell down and she swallowed soda water. That is how she started crying. Stomach. Before you know it, we were trying to manage her home, and she died. So I got home, I cried. Early in the morning, I woke up again. I didn't see her. I started crying again. As a child, I started saying, water, when I grow up, I will kill you. This keep ringing bell on my head. Now, when I started making money, the first thing I did was to remember that I would go and put a borehole in my community. Because as a child, that's a promise I promised myself. Then from there, I went to the same community where we fetch water, where we went to the stream at that time. I also sank a borehole there so that children will not suffer the same thing in that community again. So the same primary school I attended, I saw there was no fence. When we were children, we used to cut bamboo. We used to do everything to see that we fence the school. Children don't fly out the school compound. But that day, I got there. I started looking. I was like weeping. What is this? No more fence. Children cannot do this. They are small now. I said, I am going to fence this school. I remember somebody told me you can't fence it. This is government project. I said, I'm going to fence it. Then I started. When I started, at the end of the day, I completed it. From there, His Excellency Oshiomhole was building red roof all over. And my school, look at my community. The government is not coming there. Nobody from my village who is in government that can attract government to come and do that primary school. So I have to go into the school, renovating the school, changing the roof. I said, government is doing red roof. I will do blue roof. Then I did my own blue roof. If you get to my community, it still stands out. So what am I talking about? The grace of God has been carrying me. I could remember as a child, as a small boy in secondary school then, I discovered that there was always a church program, crusade program coming up, and they would tell me that Archbishop Idahosa will come. Then, you remember that was when the seed of faith started. If you want to sow a seed of faith of on time, I had no money, but I have 200 naira. I said, I'm going to use this 200 naira to sow a seed of faith of on time. And that seed is still producing up to today. When I went to meet my father, Bishop Abioye, I said, people said I should come and contest election. He said, why would they come to tell you to come and contest election? I said, because the road to my community, even Basico cannot pass it. But I've gone to tar the road. So because of this, they felt I should be the best person to come contest this election because they will vote for me. He looked at me. He said I should kneel down. I knelt down. He said, I remember his prayer. That is the kind of prayer I also pray. Father, thank you. He said, I can never forget that prayer. He said, a child from primary 1, he will enter primary 2. Father, I thank you in the mighty name of Jesus. That was his prayer. But I never knew my Senate is primary 1 and governorship is primary 2. If I want to start giving testimony, it will continue. But one thing I know, when you have Christ, allow Christ to dwell in you. I could remember one particular day, I was at Goshen. Somebody called me, said Monday. He said, you need to come and meet about 200 native daughters. I said, for what? He said, they have to do something for you. You know what I asked him? I said, who told you I want to win election? He said, you don't want to win election. I said, I will win election. Not in that miss. And he promised me that if I win that election, This guy reminded me this thing about a week ago when I was in the village. He said he will join me in my Christianity. Today, he's also a winner now. So if I continue, I'll continue. You know, they said, Apakomis, I don't talk. So let me not talk too much because let us not say Apakomis, maybe he started faking it. But let me tell you something. When God told Moses, go and meet Pharaoh, was Moses a talkative? We are all Bible students here. Was Moses a talkative? Was he not a stammerer? So I don't need to talk. He said, just tell him, let my people go. I have come to tell Edo people. I have come to tell you people. Tell the monsters in government house, let prosperity come into Edo State. It is time to even have a flyover in this town. It is time. It is high time that what they call practical governance, we will see it, where people from unit level, ward level, from churches, from mosque, they will come and meet their governor. This is what we want in our place. Since they said, I did not go to school, let the people now lead. Is that not what it is? So the people will lead. Even though I finished from University of Abuja, I read business administration, my kind of business is one of the most difficult business. A business where you don't tell lies. A business where technical issues are resolved by telling the truth. Because any little mistake you make, it will never work. I was one of the first service provider in Nigeria. And I won an award in Geneva as the best service provider in Africa. Interweb Satcom is there to speak for itself. Chapman Computer is there to speak for itself. At Chapman, we assemble computers. I was at the airport the other day. A doctor saw me and said, Monday, you don't engage with people. I said, what do you want me to engage you with? Are you not hearing me? Am I not communicating with you? He said, well, you are accusing the governor. You are not. I said, well, if the governor had done well, I don't think I will contest the election. The governor has known, to me, he has not done well. I asked him what area. He said, the governor has reformed civil service. I told him, I said, in civil service, in what area? You mean they don't carry fire anymore? Because last time I spoke to a civil servant, and a permanent secretary for that matter, he told me, practically, most of their jobs have been taken away and handled by consultants from Lagos. But let me tell you, government is very long. It has no end. It might not be me that will probe what they are doing now. Maybe 2 or 3 governors will come. One person, he said, we just spoke and said, these people have messed up this state. Let us bring them to justice. The books will speak for itself. But I want to thank Pastor Isaiah for this program. The first time I come to know about Pastor Izayamu was when he came to Chief Anani's house. And Chief Anani said, that is Pastor Izayamu. I said, Pastor, he said, yes. I said, what is he doing in politics? Immediately, I remember that there was a time Archbishop Idausa was preaching, and he said, the children of God have to be involved in governance. So I kept quiet, because I believe that is the Holy Spirit ministering to me. He has proven himself as a man of God. When I got close to him, I was watching him. I wanted to know something. Each time we are together, I'll be watching him, I'll be listening to him. I want to know whether the testimony will be coming out of his mouth. Because the Bible says, by their fruit you will know them. I want to see his body language. Is he the type? Will he hide to carry a woman? I was watching that aspect in him. I was also watching whether he would take more alcohol. But these things, he proved me wrong. So I want to thank you for this honor, sir. May the Lord reward you. I also want to talk about our leader, my leader, Oshiomhole, whom I'm now learning something from. I want to become a talkative. Even though he doesn't talk much, but I want to be like him. I also want to thank my brother here, because we will work for it together. I want to tell you that we are already working on setting up a refined economic team, not like their own. If you look at their vouchers, most of what you see is there is the service charges for MOUs. So, the person contesting today is from my place. I don't even know him. So, somebody I don't know as an Isha man, I can't say this is truly an Isha man. You know, it is good for you because you know my source. You know everybody around me. If I'm misbehaving, you report me to somebody. You know my spiritual background. You know that those that are close to me. I feel the pain our people is feeling. What our people is going through right now, I feel it more than the way you think. Because I was passing GROA. It was like my vehicle was swimming. Supposedly I was not carrying SUV. The vehicle will not be able to pass that erosion. Everything about this state was signed into law 1991. To be precise, 27th of August, 1991. Just look at every state that were signed into law at the same time. Some of them have built an international stadium. Do we have one here? The one that is here, when first tenure, second tenure, they buy test code paint it, and they will celebrate. Look at our airport. Our airport, we do not have basic facilities. No plane can land here after 6 in the evening because there's no night vision. We do not have hangars. We only have one runway. Look at other states. Even our neighbors and our neighboring state here, Delta State. Go to Akwa Ibom. Look at their roads. Look at their airport. Look at their own state-owned aircraft. Fleets of aircraft. Are we cursed? It is time for me and you to change the narrative. Your own duty is to vote for me. Because I have a passion. I have to change the state. We have to make this place a place that you can be proud of.
Some men of God will also chook mouth for the consultation forum. Come here and say,
when a pastor or the church gives you his word that this is where he or she stands, please, I want you to know that by the grace of God, you can take it to the bank. We are men of God, and by the grace of God, God is backing us up. When we say we are with you, the church is with you. I want you to know that the church has all it takes. The church has all it takes to do whatever God has asked them to do. And we want to say that in this election, this Edo State election, the church is going to speak with one voice, and we are all going to do one part, and the name of God will be glorified. Church, am I saying your mind? Yeah. We are going to make a statement. We are going to let the world know that the church can no longer be looked down upon. We will take our decision, and that part, we will follow it, and it will be well established.
Oshiomhole is here. When I was talking on channels, I described him as a Janaku, killer of Ajana. Because he has fought battles. Because when he came, those states people saw that government can be for governance and not for nothing. Since he left, it has been almost 8 rotten years of locusts. And the time is here. It has been night. Thank God St. Paul's told us that the night is far spent and the day is at hand. This one is a call, wake up call for everyone. I'm happy with the pastors who are here. There are some of other men of God who are also negotiating with the government. It's not unusual. You know, when Bishop Lati was talking, he said there are Christians inside Christians. There are Christians inside Christians. So, those ones, I don't expect them to be here. Sinners cannot live in heaven. They will be out of their elements. You understand what I'm saying? With all the evil they have enumerated, which Obaseki have committed, if you adopt a reasonable man's test, one will expect Governor Obaseki to create avenues for moral rebirth, at least to show remorse, penitence for what he has done. But rather, the opposite is the case. I can tell you as we speak now, the interior monologue of Governor Obaseki is that Edo people should beg him, that they should even apologize to him for being his victims. That is Obaseki for you. And I want to tell you that as we speak, Edo State is like a ship stranded on the high seas, rudderless, with broken navigational aids. And Governor Obaseki is telling you, I have a new cloth of good governance. A new cloth of good governance. I told people, tell Obaseki, we want to see the cloth you wore for 8 years. Because you can't be talking of a new cloth of good governance when the one you wore is awful. That is the situation. Today, I can tell you, just as Imam also said, this election we will use it to recover lost equilibrium, because that is the arm Obaseki has successfully done. Obaseki, the Roman historian Tacitus, made a statement because of govunor Obaseki. He said, he made that statement, he said, gratitude is a burden and revenge is a pleasure. That is Obaseki for you. Obaseki believes that gratitude is a burden. This is why he can betray not only the state, even but the kingdom. He is the first in history to have committed that wrong. And we cannot continue to allow. A Turkish writer said, when your government, if your government continues to make big mistakes, and in return, you continue to support that government, then you are the bigger mistakes. Is that not so? I call you Modokbeworo, just as my leader said, Pastor Sage said, that when nobody believes, yes, because I know he's predictable, he's not impudent, he's not wicked, he's free from scandal and very unskilled in licentiousness or evil. Obaseki does not believe in the Commonwealth of Edo State, but he loves his own wealth. And he's telling you to support someone. You cannot love Aswa Igodaro and say you hate Obaseki. You must punish Aswa Igodaro for the sin of Obaseki. For our pastors here, Ezekiel, the book of Ezekiel says, the parents have eaten sour grapes, and the teeth of the children are set on edge. It is not the children that ate the grapes, but the parents. I want you to see this simplicity or stricto sensu without any equitable relief. We must punish Obaseki. You cannot love a fruit and tell me you hate the tree that, of course, produced the fruit. I am here today to tell you that those states must come back to the way it was when Comrade Oshiomhole was the governor. Oshiomhole made obstacles, life, people, enemies brought obstacles, but he continued to pick, diamonds. And he achieved his goal. He did not offend the state. He did not betray the state. He did not betray the kingdom. You cannot live in Rome and fight with the Pope. Is that not so? You cannot live in Rome and fight with the Pope. That is what the governor has done. And I'm telling you this because when the time comes, we are going to distinguish between the good and the bad. And with this election, we are going to correct all wrongs. We are going to recover all lost equilibrium because Obaseki has successfully created unwarranted political rancor, 1, serious economic distortions, 2, and of course, social disequilibrium. The only way we can change it is to vote and punish this man. For evil will not be allowed to stay. I thank all of you, and my prayer is that we all share in the infinite possibilities of the future. Those trade must be great, and no man can stop it.
4 years ago, in Auchi to be precise, comrade, I'm going to say this, I know you never knew me before, but you will forgive me. That 4 years ago, we had a meeting when the governor crisscrossed over to PDP. And then I was one of those who was able to bring over 1,000 ministers for a meeting. And we stood that he will become the governor. And then during the State House of Assembly for last year, we were also told that if you have the majority, you will impeach the governor. And then I was also one of those, or the principal person who brought over 1,000 ministers to stand for him, and they had the majority. I'm going to say this now, by the grace of God. Our ministers are here from all over Edo North. Just like Jubril said, this is another Jubril, also a former Muslim. By the grace of God, I'm happy to know that you are born again. You are a servant of the Most High God. You will hear from us in a donut. Your Excellency in waiting. God bless you.
Senator Oshiomhole and Bishop Mike Laju for their talk with Tori people. Come talk say.
This is a rally of pastors and men and women of faith. And we've come to present our candidate to them. And the candidate had opportunity to interact with them and to share with them what his thoughts are and what he will do differently. I think it's extremely important for us because it's not just what you might call a rated crowd. These are very seasoned, listening to their speeches and comment. You know, these are believers, and they have no reason to say they will support you if they are not convinced, if God has not inspired them, so to say. And that is why I think that their position, which is positive, is extremely important for us and for the candidate. You know, when you have a sea of hair, you might say, some Ethiopians might say, oh, these people are rented. You can't rent men of God now. You can't rent women of God. These people, when I listen to them, I realize that there's a deep commitment. And I believe because they are men of God, they are inspired by the Holy Spirit. And I know from my experience, no one can be a governor by his own might, except God so decree. And I pray that all the prayers and words of support expressed by them translate to victory for Monday Okpeholo. And in return, he gave his word, because when you promise men of God that you will do something, you will do well to keep your promise. Because only a debtor thinks tomorrow is far. And given Monday's background, I have no reason to doubt that he can be trusted. Don't forget about those formalities. The campaigns have been going on in wards, in local governments, under the trees, in marketplaces. So it is not when you formally go to the stadium that the campaigns begin. Otherwise, how did you know of this event? How did you know that Monday is a candidate? Or that any other person is a candidate? Now campaign council is already firmed up. There's no need to rush about it. But it's even more of a formality. Because in truth, these people today who have spoken for and endorsed Monday, they are not APC members. So what they've done is not only to convince themselves about their conviction that Monday is the man to trust, because this is about trust, is that they are also by implication going to be carrying this gospel to their members, to their followers, to those who believe in them. And so it's huge, huge, huge. And for every one man of God, imagine the number of congregations. That does not mean I'm assuming that everybody they say vote this way, they vote that way. But it's important that people believe in God. In their heart also believe that that same God has directed their thoughts. That Edo other Monday, as we say, Edo is on the rise and it will rise again.
The reason why we gather today is now to ensure that everyone who will be child of God, especially in Edo State, come to realize and understand, say, time don't reach for us to be able to put somebody for the seat of government. The person when he go lead us in the next 4 to 8 years. And it is waiting we do, now waiting we do as per who we put for that place. Through our vote, now go determine the person when go govern us, when go lead us, when go be governor of the state. So the person when we come meet and to support today, through the instrumentality of our very good spiritual ambassador and leader, Pastor Isaiah Yamu, now to put our weight together to support Senator Monday Okpeholo, who be one grassroots man from Edo Central. One man when he say don't do so many things.
Make them not forget say, as we see him, now so we they talk him, we know they take blame. From Benin City, Kwelumi Mukoro, TMC TV News.